today we'll discuss about economic sustainability. So when we observe the global trends, how things are happening across the world. Well, economy and population are the driving actually forces that is leading to increased energy consumption and as a resultant pollution. That is leading to challenges on EAC fronts like economic, environmental, and social, and that is leading to actually the threat to sustainability and overall livelihood, overall existence of the different species, and the ecology of this planet is also threatened. So what is this economic sustainability? It is actually philosophy which talks about conserving resources for future, for long term. So we must actually live on the returns of the earth's natural resources rather than consuming them. So we must actually keep this as a capital, as a capital investment, and we keep on actually living on the interest which it generates. We should not actually eat up the capital itself, because the moment capital is decreased or is is going to go away or gets depleted, we will be actually going for starvation. There will be a crisis of every resource, everything possible, whichever is earth is currently able to provide us. So economic sustainability actually talks about a long term sustainability concerns in the a present as well as for the a future. Okay, considering the valuable natural resources such as water, such as air, such as the earth itself, such as the other living species, such as this entire actually combination of this biosphere which is making this life and this beautiful environment actually not possible. So the general definition, if we see of economic sustainability, is the ability of an economy to support a defined level of economic production indefinitely. So this indefinitely word here is of utmost importance. We have to survive for a longer period of time as a race, as a human species. We have to be here for an extensive amount of time, and our future generations, our children who are going to inhabit this planet in the coming years, they should not be in such a position that they are not left with any these natural resources. They should not be left in the mess of a pollution. So we must actually rework our sustainability mediums. We must actually rework our economic model, and we actually consume these resources in such a way that we always have the balance of the capital of this resource maintained with us. So there is one actually example, one analogy, okay, given by this researcher team over here. You can see the link. It talks about how the GDP is growing across the different countries, and how the growth rate is happening, how the per capita actually GDP is increasing, and what is the a disparity which is being observed actually right now in the different countries. So if you see this slide, it talks about the growth rate of the a GDP of India is increasing almost at a 9%. This is the data from the last year 2019. Okay, the China's economy is growing at 8%, Vietnam 7, US 2%, Japan 2, and England 1.7%. So in the next slide, if you see what is the average GDP per person, so this is actually drawn over here. India's growth rate was a 9%. So this India's a GDP per person is a 3,500. China's 7,600. Okay, United States 47,200, and Japan 34,000. So with this perspective, if we see, there is a huge disparity. Even if economy of India and China is growing faster than the other Western countries, but the overall actually per capita actually contribution, the per capita value of this GDP is very lesser than the other counterparts. Let's see the next slide actually. So this one here actually compares the minimum standard of living. So if you see the 76% of the population requires actually support so that they can come up the level of the minimum actually standard of living. And in case of China, this population is 36%, Vietnam 48%, United States there are still a 15% people who needs to be brought up this a minimum standard of living. So if we compare between these different economies from Japan, England, and United States, the countries such as India, China, and Vietnam, they have a long way to go, a long way to go to match actually this the disparity which is there in the a volume of the population, and the population of these countries are also very high. So overall, the number of people, if we see, who are behind actually, who are below this minimum standard of living is immense. So how this disparity is going to be filled up? So we must actually escalate our economic development. We must escalate actually overall gross domestic product of these countries. But what is going to happen if we escalate our these processes? They are going to escalate the ecological footprint also. So the moment actually ecological footprint increases, the overall actually exertion, the overall impact on the ecosystem will be immense, because there is a huge number of actually people we are talking about. We are talking about a huge actually requirement of the resources, requirement of the energy, and a huge amount of emissions and other things also. So overall, if we see India or other countries together, this entire all of the countries together at the in this world, they have already crossed this ecological footprint and the biocapacity of this planet. And if we are going to maintain the pace to actually bring these many people to the parity of the other countries, it requires at least a 300% of growth in terms of overshoot. So that is going to completely destabilize the actually economic system. So what is the way out in actually this scenario? So I'm leaving it to you for your understanding and discussion. Here, if you see in the economic mitigation potential, if we see by sector, okay, this is a projected figure by for a year 2030. This is given by a World Resources Institute. So it talks about buildings are the largest actually, they actually share the largest share of low cost emission reductions, okay, which is given by this orange color. Okay, blue color actually represents medium cost emission reduction, and the dark blue talks about high cost emission reductions. So buildings as a sector has the largest share. If you see on the extreme left of this actually this graph, and other sectors such as agriculture, industry, energy supply, forestry, transport, and waste, they all come after this. So that it means this actually building sector itself has the largest actually potential for the improvement also. In terms of if you see economic lifespan of energy consuming equipment and infrastructure, so that wise also the buildings are they actually consume the longest actually lifespan. So ranging from if you see there like a minimum lifespan to the potential a lifespan which can take place, so from 40 to 120 a number of years, compared to any other sector. If you see power stations, commercial heater and cooler, so including any of these actually buildings actually last for a long period of time. So the amount of energy what they are going to consume will also be very high. Here on actually this slide, if you see it's a combination of the triangle what we have been studying in the initial portions of this lecture, like a people, planet, and the products. So between these three, there are four united these UN SDGs are actually kept over here. The first one actually talks about the 13th climate action, and eighth one actually talks about decent work and economic growth. So it happens between a people and with the economic sustainability. And then the ninth one, which is industry, innovation, and infrastructure, that has the actually place of it's a occurrence between the economic sustainability to our community. So how the infrastructure, how the innovative ways to develop the infrastructure is going to come up on that. And the seventh, if you see UN SDGs, affordable and clean energy, it exists between economic activity with the environmental activity. So this is a common actually these three UN SDGs we can see are actually falling on the overlap in the common area of these respective actually triangles over here. except the 13th one, this climate action, actually it actually overshadows like all of them like put together. So here, if you see like the population, economy, fossil fuels, consumption, CO2, and garbage. So all of these actually things in terms of like a impact are actually rising over the like years. If you see, this is a gap of this actually short chart actually shows this data at the gap of like 5 years. So between like a 2000 like a 10 to 15 to 20 to 25. So we can see from starting from the 1965 this data table till like the projected figures from like a year 2040. Most of these like emissions, whether it is like a energy consumption, whether it is like a world's GDP and purchasing power parity, so all of these things are actually increasing. Well, overall like a livelihood and occupational facilities are increasing also, but overall impact is also increasing. So the challenge as far as like economic sustainability is concerned over here is to establish that balance where we can keep on improving on the like a economic well-being, on the like a economic like a welfare of the society, community, and like a household, while maintaining the ecological balance. So if we see like in a nutshell, what is like economic sustainability? So decoupling actually economic growth from the like environment is very of a crucial nature over here, so that we can save on the environmental impact and we can still improve on the economic like aspects. Incorporating eco efficient measures at the manufacturing and production stage. This we have discussed in detail in the previous lectures. This is very important to improve on actually the measures of like a manufacturing, the measures of actually resource consumption, the measures of like energy consumption. Advocating green economy, which nourishes actually the balance of the three ESG aspects of the sustainability while maintaining its growth, and expediting enforcement of environmental concerns into organization management and strategizing, encouraging involvement of regulatory institutions in tandem with cognitive ones. So these are the some advices for like an improvement of the economic sustainability in the world right now while maintaining the ecological balance. So here, if you see like this economic growth, so economic growth involves the combination of different actually factors to produce goods and services. So we have discussed in the like earlier slides. So the production capital, which includes like a machineries, buildings, roads, they actually at the next level they go to the like a human capital like education, knowledge, skills, techniques, labor. So improvement in these are actually very necessary to maintain that balance, and the balance is also needed to be maintained at the natural capital level. The term I was like talking about in the initial of this like a lecture, so that capital of the resources which can be there, we must actually keep it, and we should only reap the benefit part of it. We should only reap on the like interest part of it. We should actually never go for consuming the capital part itself, because the moment the capital is lost, we will be in a deep trouble. The entire planet will be in a deep actually negative balance of these resources and energetic actually systems. So maintaining that natural capital system of like raw materials, forest services, and carbon balance, etc., in the atmosphere, and while maintaining the social capital also of like institutions, government, community, and its people all together. So in an overall sense, if you see, we what we need to mean by maintaining this like a sustainable growth is to maintain the capital of several types, which is like a production capital, a human capital, natural capital, social capital. So on all of these together, we have to maintain the balance of it. So this is what actually economic sustainability is all about. Thank you very much.